A fresh dose of tech news and insight. This is breaking news on Eagle Eyes on Tech. It is Thursday, October 31st, 2024. This is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Happy Halloween. We have horrible news to talk about. It's going to first start off with this. You didn't think I'd manage to find a way to talk about the weather on a tech podcast, but by God, I found a way. You're not going to like it, though. I am actually reporting on this. It is actually Wednesday morning, right before work. So by now, landfall has occurred. This is Far Eastern Typhoon Kong Ray. Not all that long ago, it was Super Typhoon Kong Ray. This thing is a absolute monster. There is no other way to describe this thing. Its eye is massive, its coverage is massive, and the worst part of all, it's on a direct course with Taiwan. And you might think, it's Taiwan, who cares? You know what's in Taiwan? A small little company called TSMC. You know what TSMC does? They make chips for a few other small companies like Apple, AMD, Nvidia, everyone. Yeah, TSMC's main foundries are in Taiwan, and it's about to take a hit from one of the largest and scariest looking typhoons we have ever seen. Now, fortunately, it is weakening on its approach. We see it right now, 140 wind gusts. It's going to be getting down to 130. We're hoping it's going to be down towards 90. So it's probably going to make landfall as like what we in the West would consider a category 3 hurricane, very similar to Milton. The big thing is that, you know, it's going to cause damage and it's going to cause downtime at TSMC. And that may sound like, downtime, what a business thing to worry about. You know when the last time we saw downtime was? 2020. We saw a lot of downtime out of TSMC. You know what happened to the price of all electronics during the pandemic? They skyrocketed. All because they shut down for a month. This won't be as bad as 2020 by any stretch. It most likely will not. They'll probably take them out of commission for a few weeks. And on top of that, because of what happened with the pandemic, they have opened up foundries in other locations. There is, in fact, one of their foundries over in Arizona. Here's the thing. The majority are still here in Taiwan. Where in Taiwan? I couldn't tell you. How bad is this going to be? I couldn't tell you. This isn't even a real active picture of Kong Ray. This is a model. The tools I have can't even view this thing. But the pictures I have seen do confirm its eye is this big. That is a massive eye for a typhoon or a hurricane, which are the same thing. So yeah, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Expect the price of electronics to go up. How much? I don't know. But just expect it. It's going to happen. It'll probably go back down, but it's going to go up and it's going to stay up probably through, if I had to guess, it probably will stay up through Christmas. But I'm also talking about this before landfall. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it'll really deviate off course. Maybe it'll just go ahead and like skirt. Maybe we'll get really lucky and it goes out of this cone of uncertainty. Maybe it just decides, you know, maybe hitting land's not that cool. Maybe it'll just get to here. Maybe there's a bunch of wind shear here I can't see and it'll just absolutely destroy it and do something like this. Whatever the heck this is. I don't know. They gave me a pen. That was a bad idea. So yeah, that is this thing, which is going to be a problem for pretty much everyone. As much as I hate to say it, it's going to be a problem for everyone. In other news, Apple announced 2 new things, and they're actually done now with updates. So now I feel confident we can talk about it. All right. We now have a new MacBook Pro that looks exactly the same, and it starts at $1,600, which is not abnormal for the Mac Pro. It's going to be available in the M4, M4 Pro, and M4 Max chips. Pretty standard stuff from what we've seen. M4 is going to be a 10 core 10 GPU chip. M4 Pro is going to be up to a 14 core 20 core or 14 core CPU, 20 core GPU. So you get roughly double the GPU there ish. And then the M Core Max is 14 core and 32 core, 14 core CPU, 32 core GPU, which means something to someone. If it sounds like I'm very disinterested in those specs, it's because they don't mean anything. They really don't. Core count almost doesn't matter. What matters is how well they run and what the benchmarks are. We're not going to know how well these laptops perform until independent reviewers get their hands on them and actually run benchmarks on them. I could go ahead and list off all the nonsense graphs that Apple showed off, but I'm not going to lie. They don't mean squat, and I don't care. I know that sounds harsh, but I really don't. I just don't. Oh, it's 16x faster than an Intel Mac. Which one? For all I know, you're comparing it to a 2006 Mac in 2024. There's no anything to explain it. Like, come on, man. But yeah, new MacBook Pros. They're faster. They start at 16 gigs of RAM. Apple's willing to admit that 16 gigs of RAM should be the standard. Look at you catching up to modern standards. Huzzah, huzzah. What's actually the most expensive one? If I go M4 Max 16 or a 16 inch, we actually do see there's an M4 Max variant that is 16 cores, 16 CPU cores, and 40 GPU cores, and up to 48 gigabytes of memory. I'm pretty sure my streaming laptop can actually have more RAM than that. I'm pretty sure my streaming laptop can actually go up to, I want to say 128 gigabytes of RAM. I'm pretty sure it can take 32 gig SODIMMs, and there's 4 SODIMM slots. Like, I feel that memory amount is low for a top-notch computer. That is $4,000. Okay, then. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I have no qualms against the MacBook Pro. They are what they are. I mean, it is what it is. They're high-end performance Mac computers. They're going to do what they want, and that's it. It does look like the 13-inch variant of the MacBook Pro is gone. So there was like a 13-inch MacBook Pro variant that did exist for a while. That was just basically the MacBook Air, but thicker with a fan. That variant looks like it is completely gone now, to which I say good. Absolutely good. Yeah, that actually might have just vanished when the 15-inch MacBook Air came out. I forgot this existed too. So again, I say good. Huzzah, huzzah. They also announced a new Mac Mini. This one is actually redesigned. It is smaller. It is basically a thick Apple TV as far as size-wise, from what I understand. It starts at $599, and quite frankly, I'm not gonna lie, it's for a Mac, it's pretty good. Performance-wise, it's hard for me to tell what this thing is. We do see that we have M4 options. There's an M4 Pro option if you want higher end than that. Right now, if you want the highest end Mac there is, you're getting a laptop. Go figure that one out. Yeah, if you're thinking, oh, go get the Mac Studio, nope, you're on 2 generational old hardware. Oh, what if I get the big tower? Nope, 2 generational old hardware. They have not touched either of these things. This is $7,000. What the frick? How did you take away features that made it more expensive? Anyway, is that $4,000 for? Holy smokes! They're smoking something. They're smoking something. The Mac Mini, you know, starts at 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's goes up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. Starts at 256 gigabytes of RAM. Goes up to 8 terabytes of. 256 gigs of storage. Goes up to 8 terabytes of storage. Has an M4 or M4 Pro SoC, and you know it's fine. The whole design of it is much smaller. They do have a headphone jack. They didn't kill that off. It does have ports easily accessible on the front and on the rear. The power button, on the other hand, is a choice. They decided, for reasons scientists cannot explain, and I'm hoping they actually show it on their website and I don't have to go to Twitter for this. I got a feeling I'm going to have to. They put the power button on the bottom. Yeah, they're not showing it. Probably for good reason. Kind of like how they don't want to show the fact they put the USB-C port on their mouse on the bottom. The power button is about right here, the front corner. They actually, no, it's in the back. Oh, that's so much worse. I hate this. The power button's on the bottom in the back. Oh, that's hideous. So you got to reach around behind the power button. The funny thing is that actually online, Mac users are defending this under the grounds of, well, you never turn on or off your computer. What do you think this is, a PC? I'm sorry, I thought Mac users were supposed to be energy conscious. I thought Mac users were supposed to be so environmentally friendly. Why are you keeping your computers in sleep and standby mode and consuming idle power? And on top of that, I hate to break it to you, Mac OS suffers from bit rot too. Oh man, my computer is behaving a little weird. Oh, well, I'll just muscle through it. No, restart your computer, you absolute idiot. No, that's a PC fix. This isn't a case of Mac users. Like this is obviously a case of Mac users just having like a superiority complex. It is also a case of, that's the wrong button. This is also a case of Mac users just being generally stupid. Like they just want to go ahead and say like, oh, this never happens to us. We can go, it doesn't matter that our power button's on the bottom behind the unit. Like the weirdest thing is now, even though it's a smaller footprint, guess what? I'm going to want this thing like actually under the monitor within arm's reach. Like my towers right now that I use for this station, they are to the left of my desk on a smaller desk, and they both just sit there. And if I really need to go ahead and turn them on or off, I just get up, get around and turn them on and off. It's easy. And I don't have to do that very often because, you know, I usually just hit the power button on my way in to sit down. Here, wait, I just thought about something. Is it going to make a whole lot more sense for the Mac Mini to just be used upside down? Because hear me out, okay? The top just has the nice shiny Apple finish and that Apple logo, right? The cooling is all happening internally and it's taking in air on the bottom and expelling it on the bottom, right? So if you turn it upside down, you're giving it better airflow and actually have easy access to the power button. They actually really just made a Mac that is better to use upside down. Flippin' brilliant. Actually flippin' brilliant. You know what? If I ever get in an argument with an Apple fanboy, I'm just gonna say, just put your Mac Mini upside down. It's actually better for it. And it actually is. It factually is actually better to run that thing upside down. Holy smokes. One last story to close up before this, what was originally just gonna be like one or two stories, and then I found a whole bunch more. Sony has decided that Concord, it was a dead game, but it was kind of like moving and twitching in the back. It was kind of weird and creepy. So they decided to just take a 12 gauge and really put out of its misery for good. Firewalk Studios, the studio behind Concord and was bought by Sony, has been completely shut down. Their statement is as follows. Firewalk is signing off one last time. Firewalk began with the idea of bringing joy of multiplayer to a larger audience, along with the way we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new startup into a team of during a global pandemic. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was a very small for its couple of years. Now only entering full production in 2022. Build a new customized general FPS engine in Unreal 4 into 5, delivering top tier gameplay, feel, beautiful worlds, and performant, 60 FPS technical experience on a stable and scalable backend on PS5 and PC to hundreds of thousands of players in our beta. Let me interject. It was not hundreds of thousands of players. It was not. It was thousands. That's it. You can't fool us. We have the numbers. And also to say top tier gameplay feel. No, the gameplay was the biggest complaint. Beautiful worlds? It was all mid. I'm sorry, but I do feel bad for the studio shutting down, but why are you lying? You want to know why you were shut down? It was because of this, because you were in denial about your status in the world, about how good you were. And you never stepped back to say, you know what? We have a problem and we need to address it. You never did. And now you're gone. Their statement continues. Manage an acquisition and integration while readying technical and preliminary, that's actually me mispronouncing, not them, tests, and ultimately ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players, even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market. Let me interject. It was not consolidated. Consolidated means that it was tightly compact, meaning that we have already cut the fat and only using a select number of things. We have not cut the fat in the hero shooter market. It is a saturated market. There are tons of people trying to fight for space and are struggling to get it. The consolidation hasn't happened yet. If it was consolidated, then you could come in with a Concord that brought in something unique and possibly shake up the industry. But you didn't. Even in the end, they show very strange, and you could argue consolidated versus saturated. There's a difference. And the fact they don't even see the differences really does show why Firehawk failed. Even in its outgoing statement, we see moments of, yeah, no, just no. They continue. We took some risks along the way, mirroring aspect of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters. And although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into a world is critical to push the medium forward. Let me interject. I will agree with that. The idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. That much is true. You do, however, need to go ahead and actually do research to see, should we do this? The statement continues. The talented Firehawk and the level of individual craft is truly world class. Let me interject. If it was, you would not be shut down. You would be, well, you'd get a different project. The statement continues. And teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries, and thank you for all the very many teams, partners, and fans who support us along the way. See you in the Tempest, Firehawk Studio. Look, here's the hard truth. We refer to something known as the 7 deadly sins: wrath, lust, gluttony, greed, pride, sloth. I'm missing one and I can't remember which one it is, but the point is that these guys fell victim to pride. They believed they were world-class talent, the best of the best, that they knew best. Here's the harsh truth. You didn't. And you were too blinded by pride to see that being the case. Envy! Envy, that's the last one. God dang it. How did I forget envy? Anyway, the point is that you let your pride get in the way. You let it blind you and refuse to let yourselves improve. Refuse to take criticism and say, you know, I think we can go back to the drawing board and I think we can do better. Even in their final statement, we never see we made mistakes. All they say is things didn't land as they hoped. They aren't the problem. The industry is, and you, the consumer, just didn't accept the ideas they had, and that was the problem. Bro, what the heck? I'm not gonna lie, I don't see a whole lot of future for a team with this kind of mentality. The best thing that could happen to them is being shut down and broken apart. It really, really is. Because quite frankly, there's either one person in leadership that refuses to let people go ahead and take criticism, or they're all just this pig-headed and blinded by their own pride And that's not good for their future careers at all. The best thing I can say, if somehow this message gets to them, look at criticism, take your criticism, and be willing to go back and improve, because no one's perfect. You guys weren't perfect, and in the end, you let that be your downfall rather than improve and become better. That's going to do it for me. Get out there, conquer the day.